Hello students, today in this video we will see the explanation of the chapter number 7, the necklace, from our Footprints Without Feet book. So in our previous video I have given you the introduction of the chapter, that how Mr. Loisel and Madame Loisel, they struggle a lot for a imitation necklace. So let's see what first stanza says. Please open your book, because whenever you will read the text, so it will be more convenient to you to understand the chapter. So let's talk about the author. That we have discussed that his complete name was Henri Rene Albert Guy de Maupassant. First paragraph is, she was one of those pretty young ladies born as if through an error of destiny into a family of clerks. She had no dowry, no hopes, no means of becoming known, loved, and married by a man either rich or distinguished. And she allowed herself to marry a pretty clerk in the office of the Board of Education. She was simple, but she was unhappy. She suffered incessantly, feeling herself born for the delicacies and luxuries. She suffered from poverty of her apartment, the shabby walls and the worn chairs. All these things tortured and angered her when she seated herself for dinner opposite her husband, who uncovered the terrain with a delighted air, saying. So let's discuss this paragraph. That here we are talking about, it's in a way in the introduction of Matilda Loisel, who was a pretty young lady who was born into a middle class family and who worked as a clerks. So her family did not have any means to arrange dowry for her marriage, and she didn't have any other means by which she could befriend a rich man to be loved or married to him. So due to these circumstances, she had to marry a clerk in office of the Board of Education, and because of this she was unhappy. She used to think that destiny was unfair to her and she deserves much better than what she had got. And for that she used to get angry and was tortured by the condition of her apartment, the dirty walls and the torn furnitures that used to irritate her. Actually, she used to think about elegant dinners being served in the marvelous dishes, when her husband used to praise the home made food served in a simple dish. So these things are given here in this passage. Let's talk about second passage. Oh, the god pot pie. I know nothing better than that she would think of elegant dinners of shining silver. She thought of exquisite food served in the marvelous dishes. She had neither frocks nor jewels, nothing. And she loved only those things, and had a rich friend, a schoolmate at the convent, who she did not like to visit. She suffered so much when she returned. She wept for whole days from despair and disappointment. One evening, her husband returned elated, bearing in his hand a large envelope. Here, he said, here is something for you. So here, in this paragraph, we will say that she was afraid of all these things, that she felt tortured of that poor house, and she got irritated to the furniture and the vessels, and the dishes at her home. So she said she did not have the fancy jewels also and all that. So what happened here? So in this paragraph we will see that she was depressed of all these things, right? And when her husband used to praise the homemade food served in a simple dish, she did not feel happy for that, as she did not have fancy jewels or good dresses, etc. But she had a school friend whom she did not like to meet, as she was a rich lady, and after meeting her, she used to cry for days together, looking at the condition of her life. So one day, her husband came back home from work in a happy mood, holding an envelope in his hand, and he told him that he informed that this is the envelope for her, right? And he asked her to open that envelope. She quickly drew out a printed card on which were inscribed these words: "The Minister of Public Instructions and Madame George Rapunel asked the honor of Mr. and Ma'am Loisel's company, Monday evening, January 18, at Minister's residence." So this was written in this letter, right? In this envelope, right? When she opened that, so there was something which was the invitation. So am means here Mr. in French, and ma'am, mme, that is Mrs. in French, right? So what this paragraph means, that when the husband gave her the invitation card or that envelope, so she quickly pulled out the printed card, and she was excited to know what is it about. And when she opened that, so she found that it was an invitation from the minister, and the couple had been invited to a dinner party at the house of the Minister of Public Instructions, right? So she was supposed to be delighted with that. Mr. Delighted as M. Loisel expected, but she got really angry with the invitation. So let's see what happened next. Instead of being delighted as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation spitefully upon the table, murmuring, "What do you suppose I want with that? What, my desire, dearie? I thought it would make you happy." Right? So when the husband thought that she would be happy with the invitation, but Ma'am Loisel as the husband expected, but she got really angry and she threw the card while murmuring something. She asked her husband what did he want her to do with this card. So he replied that he had thought that she would be happy as she never went out in such type of occasions. So you murmuring, "What do you suppose I want that? But my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. You never go out, and this is an occasion, and a fine one. Everybody wishes one, and it is selected. Not many are given to the employees. You will see the whole official world there." She looked at him with an irritated eye and declared impatiently, "What do you suppose I have to wear to such a thing as that?" So when she got angry with that, when she read the card, so she got angry and she threw the card. So the husband said that, "I thought you would be happy to get that invitation." So because she never went to such rare occasions, right? So he also told that she would be meeting a lot of people from his office there, and Matilda asked him that what could she wear to such a grand party. Actually, that was the problem, and that's why she was asking that what she would wear in that party. So he stammered, "What do you suppose I have to wear in such that party?" So he stammered. The husband was again actually was afraid of the lady, and he stammered, "Why the dress you wear when we go to the theatre? It seems very pretty to me." He was silent, stupefied in dismay at the sight of the wife weeping. He stammered, "What is the matter? What is the matter?" By a violent effort, he had controlled her vexation and responded in a calm voice, wiping her moist cheeks, "Nothing. Only I have no dress, and consequently I cannot go to this affair. Give your card to some colleague whose wife is better fitted out than I." He was grieved, but answered, "Let us see, Matilda. How much would a suitable costume cost? Something that could serve for other occasions." So husband got afraid because the wife was crying, right? And why she was crying? Because she did not have a nice dress to wear for a party, as usual. That is the scene of all the ladies, right? So he stammered, and as he had not thought of that, right? So he first asked her to wear the dress that she wore when they went out of the movies, but then, as she was weeping, he asked her about the matter. She wiped her tears from her wet cheeks also, and replied calmly that she could not be a part of such a grand affair, and that he should give away the card to some other colleague whose wife is having better clothes than her. So he felt bad for his wife, and he saw her crying, and asked her the cost of a simple dress that could be worn by the other occasions as well. Means he was now agreed, because he was not very well to do, he was a simple clerk, so he was not having such amount, right? So as the wife was crying, so he asked her that what could be the cost of a simple dress, right? So let's see what happened next, which is something very simple. She reflected for some seconds, thinking of a sum that she could ask for without bringing with it immediate refusal and a frightened exclamation from the economic clerk. Finally, she said in a hesitating voice, "I cannot tell exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it." So when the husband asked that what could be the cost of the dress, right? So that time, what happened, she wiped her tears, and she started, she thought of an amount that would neither be refused by him, not scare the poor clerk. So then she said that she would be able to manage. Then he said that she would be able to manage the dress in 400 francs. Now next, he turned a little pale, for he had saved just this sum to buy a gun, that he might be able to join some hunting parties the next summer with some friends who went to shoot lark on Sundays. Nevertheless, he answered, "Very well, I will give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress." The day of the ball approached, and Ma'am Loisel seemed sad, disturbed, anxious. Nevertheless, her dress was nearly ready. Her husband said to her one evening, "What is the matter with you?" Now, when the wife told her, that the price of the dress that she could manage in 400 francs, so what happened? Mr. Loisel was reluctant, as he has saved only that much money to buy a gun for himself, so that he could join the hunting parties next summer along with his friends. So he had saved that much amount, that means the 400 francs, for that, because he wanted to get a gun. So he told his wife that he would give that money to her, and asked her to buy a good dress. The day was approaching, and Matilda was still not fine, even though her dress was almost ready. So one day her husband asked her again that why she had been acting strangely for the past few days. So that's why he asked that what was the matter with you again, because now she is having a dress. So let's see. Her husband said to her one evening, "What's the matter with you? You have acted strangely for 2 or 3 days." And she responded, "I am vexed not to have a jewel, nothing to adorn myself with. I shall have such a poverty-stricken look." So you have to see, this word vexed means annoyed or frustrated. This word is given here, vexed. So annoyed or frustrated. So when when her husband asked that why you are such, behaving such strange, so Matilda replied that although she had the dress, but she did not have any kind of jewelry or anything else to make herself look even more attractive and more adorned with. And if she will wear that dress without any jewelry, so she would look like a poor person in such a big party, right? So again, what she wanted to do, show off, right? She wanted to show off in that party, right? Let's see what happened next. "I would prefer not to go to this party," he replied. "You can wear some natural flowers." in this season they look very cheap. She was not convinced. No, she replied. There's nothing more humiliating than to have a shabby air in the midst of rich women. Then her husband cried out, how stupid we are. Go and find out your friend Ma'am Forrester and ask her to lend you her jewels. She uttered a cry of joy. It's true, she said. I had not thought of that. The next day, she took herself to a friend's house. Now, when again the husband was, he was also worried to when he watched that strange behavior of the lady, and now he had not money. And when he asked her that why she is behaving such strange, so she asked that she will not go to the party because she is not having any jewelry. So the husband was in tension that he has given the savings, all his savings to the lady, right? So when she said that you should have some flowers or natural flowers, so actually to this her husband replied that she could wear some natural flowers over the dress as they looked really nice and attractive. So she replied that she could not, as it looked really cheap in the party of the rich people. Then her husband suggested that she could go to her friend Ma'am Forrester and ask her to lend some of her jewelry. So Matilda became very happy. She shouted and when she heard this idea. She went to Ma'am Forrester's house next day. Now let's see what she said. And she said to herself to her friend house and related her story of distress. Ma'am Forrester went to her closet, took out a large jewel case, brought it, opened it and said, choose, my dear. She saw at first some bracelets, then a collar of pearls, then a Venetian cross of gold, and a jewel of admirable workmanship. She tried the jewel before the glass, hesitated, but could neither decide to take them or leave them. Then she asked, have you nothing more? So when she went to Ma'am Forrester's house and she told her distress that why she came to her, that she wanted to have some jewelry for the party and all that. So Ma'am Forrester went to her closet means almirah, and brought her to the jewel box. So Ma'am Forrester asked her to choose for herself whatever she wanted. She first saw some bracelets, then some pearl collars, and then a Venetian cross of gold and jewels. But Ma'am Loisel, right, this Matilda, she was not able to decide what to take and what to leave. So she asked in hesitation to Ma'am Forrester if she have anything else that she could wear. Now next, what is the response of Ma'am Forrester? Let's see. Why, yes, look for yourself. I do not know what will please you. Suddenly she discovered in a black satin box a superb necklace of diamonds. Her hands trembled as she took it out. She placed it above her throat against her dress and was ecstatic. Then she asked in a hesitating voice, full of anxiety, could you lend me this, only this? Why, yes, certainly. So when Ma'am Forrester replied that she did not know, to this ma'am, when she asked that could I see something else? So to this Ma'am Forrester replied that she could herself take a look and choose something suitable. So she then saw a superb diamond necklace which was kept in a black box, right? And she took it out with the trembling hands and wore it, and she was overjoyed with the necklace as it looked very beautiful. So she asked her friend if she could lend this diamond necklace, only this one. So Ma'am Forrester consented to it and she said, yes, why not, you can take that. Next is, she fell upon the neck of her friend, embraced her with passion, then went away with the treasure. The day of the ball arrived. Ma'am Loisel was a great success. She was the prettiest of all, elegant, gracious, smiling and full of joy. All the men noticed her, asked her name and wanted to be presented. She danced with enthusiasm, intoxicated with pleasure, thinking of nothing but all the admirations. This victory so complete and sweet to her heart. So here in this paragraph we can see Matilda thanked her friend, and for that she hugged her friend with affection and left for her house. So the day of party arrived, and Ma'am Loisel was appreciated as she was the prettiest lady there and the most elegant and gracious of all. So she was very happy and full of joy as all the men were noticing her. She was full of enthusiasm and pleasure as she was very happy with all the attentions she had gained there. And what happened after that? So she was very happy. She went home, and sweet to her heart, she went home towards 4 o'clock in the morning. Her husband had been half asleep in one of the little salons since midnight. The salons means the reception areas, with 3 other gentlemen whose wives were enjoying themselves very much. He threw around her shoulders the modest wraps they carried, whose poverty. Now we will see this afterwards. So what happened? So when she danced a lot and all that, she enjoyed a lot, right? And she gained all the attention of all the men there. So they means the couple left the party at 4 o'clock in the morning, and Mr. Loisel had already slept at 12 o'clock in one of the hall with 3 other men whose wives were also enjoying the party. So here Ma'am Loisel threw a wrap around her shoulders as they were about to leave. Clashed with the elegance of the waltz costume, she wished to hurry away in the order not to be noticed by the other women who were wrapping themselves in rich furs. So here here one contrast is there. That day she was wearing a very good dress, and she was wearing a necklace also. But when she was about to leave, so she wrapped her poor type of shawl, right? Because it was 4 o'clock in the morning. So that time, so she wrapped around her shoulders as they were about to leave. So the elegance of the party dress was getting ruined by that shawl. Wrap is there, no? So by that shawl or stole, you can say, as it was not that much pretty. So she wanted to leave the party quickly because she did not want that the rich ladies who had wrapped themselves in rich furs, in rich shawls, that they should not see her to that she has worn such a cheap wrap. So Loisel detained her. "Wait," said he, "I am going to call a cab." But she would not listen and descended the steps rapidly. When they were in the streets, they found no carriage, and they began to seek for one. Hailing the coachman whom they saw at a distance, they walked along toward the river, hopeless and shivering. Finally, they found one of those old carriages that one sees in Paris after nightfall. Okay, so here, because she wanted to save herself from the look of the rich ladies, that she has been now wrapping the poor quality, the cheap quality of the shawl. So this was why, because she had portrayed herself as a rich lady in the party by wearing the new dress and the diamond necklace of her friend. So Mr. Loisel asked her to wait as he was calling a cab, but she was in a hurry that nobody else should see her in that dirty or in the cheap wrap. So she was in hurry and quickly went down the stairs, and she did not want to be noticed. As they go on the street, they were looking for a carriage which could take them to the home, but no one found there. They saw a coachman at a distance and started calling him, shouting for him, but he did not stop. They kept walking together towards the river and finally found a carriage of the poor style, that was in very bad condition, and it was of the kind which one can find at in the street of Paris at the dusk time. So the carriage took them to their home, and they both went up. Now next part of the story, We will see in our next video. Till then, please read the chapter till here, and I request you to read the text also. Thank you very much.